I've spent over $200 million on ads and tested over 10,000 ad concepts, and these 13 proven ad formats are behind nearly every winner we've ever found. What surprised me the most is these aren't formats you've never seen before. You can find them in every social feed you're on right now. In fact, I don't even like them, but that doesn't matter because they help us spend millions of dollars a month on our ad accounts. My name is Mike Bontempo, and over the last 7 years, my ads agency has generated nearly $500 million in actual sales for our clients. Today, I'm walking you through my full system, the 13 ad formats that keep scaling year after year, the 2 mistakes that can sabotage those exact formats if you're not careful, and the 3 testing constraints that decide what's actually a winner worth putting budget behind. Now first, let me give you context behind these winning formats. In the last 90 days, my team ran 402 ad concepts across our client accounts. 96 of those concepts cleared our testing. That's our win rate, and it sits at 23.8%. Of those 96, 25 held up when we pushed real budget behind them at scale. Now, win rate in our system means the percentage of tested concepts that cleared our 3 testing constraints, which I'll cover soon. A testing winner is a concept that cleared all 3. So at a 23.8% win rate, roughly 4 out of every 5 concepts we test failed. An 80% failure rate is a standard at our level. And we've been doing this for 7 years with full testing infrastructure behind it. Now, as you can tell from our data, your job isn't to fix the failure rate. The failure rate is the cost of finding winners. Your job is to make sure your testing system can correctly identify the 20% that work before you've burned through your budget calling them losers. Our system has 3 constraints we force on every concept before anyone is allowed to call it dead. Most accounts tend to skip all 3. Constraint 1 is spend threshold. You have to spend enough on a concept before the data on it actually means anything. This amount depends on your target CPA. If your target CPA is under $100, you spend 3.5 to 4 times that number before you make any call. If it's $100 to $149, you're going to spend 3 times CPA. If it's $150 to $249, you're going to spend 2 to 2.5 times. Now above $250, you're going to spend 1.5 to 2 times. The multiple shrinks as the CPA goes up because the dollar amount of each test is already large enough to give you real data. But if your target CPA is $50, spending $50 tells you nothing. You need 3.5 to 4 times that amount before a useful pattern shows up in the data. Now, unfortunately, most accounts don't get anywhere near these thresholds. They call a concept a loser on day 2 at $80 in spend and move on. So they've killed concepts that haven't even been given the chance to prove anything yet. Okay, so once you've spent enough, constraint 2 is that the concept has to actually clear your target CPA. Not trending towards it or showing promise, but actually clearing it. A concept that's at $120 and trending towards a $100 CPA target after 3 days doesn't mean it's almost a winner. Early data is noisy, and a couple lucky conversions can make anything look good for 48 hours. So you need it to actually beat the target before it counts. Now finally, constraint 3 is the concept must hold for 7 consecutive days. Not 7 total days, but 7 in a row. The reason it has to be consecutive is that Facebook's algorithm doesn't deliver evenly across the week. Weekend behavior is different from weekday behavior. So a concept that crushes it on Monday through Friday but tanks on the weekend hasn't actually proven itself over a full week. One bad day anywhere in that stretch and you reset the clock. This is typically the hardest constraint to follow. Your instinct on day 2 or 3 may scream to kill it when it looks like a loser, but if you pull the plug early, you might have just killed a future winner. 2 days of data tells you almost nothing. So constraint 1 says you likely haven't spent enough. Constraint 2 says it actually hasn't cleared your target CPA yet. And constraint 3 says you haven't run it long enough. We only consider a concept that clears all 3 as a testing winner. But a testing winner is not automatically ready for big budget. Once you've found a testing winner, you move it into the scale campaign and follow a completely different set of rules before any real money goes behind it. Now, here's the standard we follow in my agency. A creative has to hold target CPA at 10 times the CPA in spend inside the scale campaign. So a $150 CPA target means $1,500 in spend in the scale campaign. Below that, and you're gonna still be flying blind. That's why we treat every testing winner as a precious resource. Because they're rare and expensive to confirm at scale, we run the numbers to know exactly how many of those winners our system needs to produce every single month to hit our spend goal. So how many concepts do you need every month? Well, here's our formula. You're gonna start with your monthly ad spend, divide that by the average lifetime spend per winner, meaning how much a winning ad can profitably sustain before it fatigues. That gives you the number of testing winners you need that month. Then you're gonna divide that by your win rate for that format. That tells you the exact total creative volume you need to produce to find those winners. So the full formula is monthly spend divided by average lifetime spend per winner divided by your win rate by format equals total creative volume required. Now, let me show you what that looks like with real numbers. Say you're trying to profitably spend $1 million a month. If your average winning ad sustains $30,000 in spend before it fatigues, that's $1 million divided by $30,000. You need 34 winners that month. Now, split by creative mix. Most of our clients run 80% of spend on video concepts and about 20% on static. That's 28 video winners and 7 static winners. Then back into volume using win rate. So if your video win rate is 30%, you need 28 divided by 30%. Now that's gonna be 94 videos to find those 28 winners. If your static win rate is 40%, you need about 18 statics to find 7. So you need about 112 concepts that month. In our system, a concept is one idea, essentially one pitch or one script. Now, a variation is a different execution of that same concept using different talent, opener, and cuts. Now, we run 3 to 4 variations per concept inside testing. So 112 concepts means somewhere between 336 and 448 actual ad units to produce that month. That's the volume your system has to support. The whole testing system only works if you're feeding it the volume the formula tells you to. Now, most accounts plug arbitrary numbers in and wonder why they can't find winners. And getting to that volume is a production problem, not a creative problem. The bottleneck is cycle time, which is how long it takes you to move from idea to live ad. Our target internally is under 15 days. But when we started tracking it across the agency, we were at 34 days to take an idea to an actual live ad. And to be honest with you, if you actually tracked it, what you're doing or the current agency you're running, they're probably around that or even higher. We were able to cut that by 56% by building a system around the bottleneck and measuring the time at every step. Now, by the way, if you want the full creative testing system, every spend threshold, and the dashboard we use to track every concept from idea to scale, the link is in the description. It's the exact system behind over $300 million in profitable sales. That's the testing framework and scaling rules. Now, let's move on to the 13 winning ad formats. Now, I can't give you a clean win rate per format yet. We're still building up enough data for each format to make it quantitative. But the commentary I'm about to give you is based on running these across hundreds of client accounts. Most of these hit consistently. Others are situational, which means it's the right format for the right audience and offer type. So let me separate them. Starting with the first format, the social proof testimonial, which you could run as an image. Here's a textbook example. This is a ClickBank affiliate ad built entirely around a screenshot of an iMessage thread with the founder showing daily sales numbers, casual back and forth, no design graphics, and the headline above it, ClickBank's #1 affiliate reveals his 3-step system. That was the entire ad. It works because it reads as a real conversation, not a design testimonial. By the time the viewer realizes they're being sold to, they've already read the proof. The second is text only, run as an image. This is just copy on a plain background. There's no graphics, design, or product image. The textbook version is 3 lines, and that's the entire ad. Now in 2026, a lot of advertisers are still using overly polished creatives. That's exactly why plain text creatives stand out. The brain processes them as content first, ad second. Now, by the time the viewer realizes they're already being sold to, they've already read the message. The third is the infographic style image. Complex information laid out visually so the viewer can scan it in 2 seconds and understand the entire offer. This format works because it shows the viewer that you understand their problem better than they do. The structure of the infographic is the proof. If you can map the path that cleanly, you've already done the thinking they were gonna have to do themselves. The fourth is the money video. We ran this specific type of ad for a couple different people in the biz op niche, namely Douglas James, on years for YouTube. He'd open his videos by showcasing $100,000 in cash on camera and then pulling it back. The visual comes before any claim, and the cash is the hook. The BizOp variant of this is the checks video. Here you have talent at home panning across a stack of recent commission checks, each one a different amount, all dated within the same year. Which one you reach for depends on the story the offer is telling. You want one big number for big claim positioning, many small numbers when the mechanism is the recurring payout. Now, this format works best for high ticket and opportunity offers running on YouTube, where the visual carries more authority than the copy. The fifth is a tweet style or Reddit style ad. These look just like a screenshot of an X post or a Reddit thread. You have a verified profile, short paragraphs, real engagement numbers visible at the bottom. Looks just like it's organic. They run on the same principle text only does. The brain processes them as content first, ad second, but at a higher level because a tweet or Reddit post is even further from looking like an ad. So our format by format win rates are still being coded into our dashboard, so I can't give you a clean number on each one yet. But what I can tell you is that they're outperforming the standard baseline win rate across almost every account that we've deployed them in. That's a strong enough signal that we're scaling production on them right now. The sixth is the long form testimonial video. This is one client, one camera, and one story told all the way through. For us, that's a 4 to 5 minute video where someone like Colin Dedeli, a client of ours, walks through the entire arc, what his business looked like before he came to us, what he tried that didn't work, what changed when we took over, and what the numbers do now. This is where most advertisers get the math backwards. They look at images and short videos as cheaper, faster to produce, and assume that's the smart play. But the data says otherwise. The numbers I'm about to share cover 2 consecutive quarters across every client account in our portfolio. Q4 of last year, plus the 402 concept Q1 I walked you through at the beginning of the video. Every concept gets tracked through our automated dashboard, so this isn't cherry-picked. In Q4 of last year, our win rate on image ads was 16%, while our win rate on video ads was 21%. In Q1 of this year, the image win rate was 17%, and the video win rate was 13%. So the win rate fluctuates. Sometimes images win more often, sometimes videos win more often, but win rate isn't the only number that matters. What matters just as much is how long that winning ad can actually sustain spend once you find it. And the data on that is clear. When we looked at average lifetime spend, meaning how much an ad can profitably spend before it fatigues and burns out, the gap between formats was significant. Across our portfolio, the average static winner at scale topped out at around $10,334 in spend. But the average video winner continued scaling all the way to roughly $23,719. That means when you find a winning video, you're not just getting a winner, you're getting materially more longevity and scale out of it compared to an image ad. Now, images just fatigue and burn out twice as fast. The longer format is also creating a different buyer, someone who's pre-sold with higher intent and willing to spend more. The seventh is the direct offer lead. There's no story or setup here. You just make a big claim, share how the offer works, and tell them why they need to act now. Here's the first 3 lines of the direct offer lead we run for our own $29 workshop. If your business is stuck at $100,000 to $150,000 a month, it's not because your ads suck, it's because you don't have a system. And I'm about to hand you the same system billion-dollar hedge funds use to print cash on demand for $29. That's the format. Big claim, mechanism, and price. Now this works because every market has roughly 3% of buyers ready to purchase today. And that 3% is already educated and ready to buy. They just need to hear a good offer at the right time. Those first 7 formats are very consistent. Now let's move on to more situational formats. These next ones are more dependent on who you're running them against. The 8th is the product image. For my own audiobook funnel, I rolled out over 200 different concepts over a 3-year stretch. My best performer was a picture of the book, the price, which was $1.99, and the headline, discover how to bring in 30 to 50 brand new clients every month using Facebook ads. This one ad out-converted everything else for 3 years and scaled to over 13,000 front-end sales. This format lives or dies on audience awareness. For cold traffic that doesn't know they have the problem yet, it's gonna fall flat. But it dominates for solution-aware audiences who have already tried other approaches and are looking for the right one. The 9th is the attention call-out image. We ran this for a fitness offer in the first responders niche. The audience self-qualifies in the first half second. If the call out is specific enough, the right viewer keeps reading. If it's not, they keep scrolling. Either way, the format does its job. The wrong people don't click, which lowers your CPM and tightens Meta's targeting signal. Now the 10th is the demonstration video. The talent walks the viewer through what's actually inside the product or the proof behind the offer on the screen. So for a digital product or course, that's going to be a screen recording of the membership site, clicking through the modules, opening the lessons, showing exactly what someone gets when they buy. The demonstration replaces the explanation. For an opportunity offer, it's the same mechanic with proof instead of product. This format collapses objections faster than any written copy can. You're not asking the viewer to trust the claim. You're walking them through the proof in real time. But it's only situational. It only works when the product, the membership site, or the result can actually be shown on camera in a way that's compelling. Now, the 11th is the testimonial montage video. It's a compilation of 8 to 10 client clips edited back to back, each one 5 to 10 seconds long, each one stating a specific result with a number. One testimonial is a story, and that can work if the story is great. But 10 testimonials in a row is persuasive because the volume itself is the message. 10 different people saying 10 different specific outcomes implies the result is repeatable. The 12th is the old way versus new way image. Here's a textbook example. We had an Amazon FBA offer that we were running, and we titled it, How to Crush It as an Amazon Seller in 2024. There was 2 columns. The old way listed the failure cycle of a traditional Amazon seller. The new way listed the private label launchpad system, and the CTA at the bottom read, duplicate for $47. The format does the intellectual work for the viewer before the copy does. They see the contrast in 2 seconds. They don't have to connect the dots themselves. This is especially effective with the solution-aware audiences who've tried old, ineffective solutions and failed. And 13th is the pattern interrupt image. This is an unexpected visual that breaks the scroll. Anything that creates a wait, what is this? Reaction in the first frame. The same brain mechanism as the attention call out, but at the visual level. The brain can't scroll past something it can't immediately categorize. It has to stop and resolve what it's seeing. This format works consistently as a hook mechanism, but it's less reliable as a standalone concept without a strong offer behind it. Beyond those 13, there's one format worth mentioning, but as a cautionary note, not a recommendation. I'm talking about AI avatar concepts, which aren't in our rotation right now. We've tested more of them in the last couple of months than we ever have, and the win rate has come in below our agency baseline. We haven't cracked why yet, but we're still working on it. As you can see, this list keeps evolving. Some formats are evergreen, some are emerging, and some are disappearing. But what doesn't change is why most accounts running these proven formats still get nothing from them. And it all comes down to 2 mistakes advertisers make. The first mistake is awareness mismatch. Cold traffic isn't one awareness level. It's all of them simultaneously. Some viewers are unaware they have the problem your offer solves. They only feel the symptom. Some are problem aware but don't know which solution will work for them. Some are solution aware and have already evaluated the alternatives. The same 13 formats can hit any of them. What changes is the lead and how we introduce our message. For an unaware viewer, lead with a symptom. Draw them into a situation they recognize in their own life and use it to bridge them to the problem. For a problem-aware viewer, lead with the problem, amplify it, and twist the knife. Reveal why the solutions they've already tried haven't worked for them. Now, for a solution-aware viewer, lead with your mechanism. Tell them why yours is different from what they've already rejected. The right answer isn't trying to guess which awareness level your traffic is at, because your traffic is all of them at once. The right answer is building a lead for each level and letting the data tell you which one actually converts. Now, we do that by rotating through 6 proven lead types that map directly to those awareness stages. So you have your offer lead, your promise lead, your problem solution lead, you have a big secret lead, a proclamation, and story-based leads. So an easy way to test this on, let's say, a low ticket funnel where there's a VSL on the sales page doing the selling, here's what we would actually do. We're gonna build 3 identical pages with the same offer, the same body, the same call to action. The only difference is the headline in the first 3 minutes of the VSL. We'll typically test 3 or 4 lead types against each other in a single sprint, each one matched to a different awareness level. After the first 3 minutes, every page is identical again. That way, the data can tell us exactly which lead and which awareness match moved the needle. For example, we ran this in the credit niche, and the story lead beat the control by 27.38% on front-end conversions. CPA dropped by $45, which worked out to 13 extra buyers per day. At $213 in net profit per buyer per year, changing only the first 3 minutes of one VSL added over $930,000 in annual net profit. Nothing else changed. On my own $1.99 audiobook funnel, the story lead out-converted everything else by more than 70%. That funnel scaled to 13,000 front-end sales. Now, if the lead doesn't match the awareness level of the viewer watching, they never reach the pitch. It doesn't matter which of the 13 formats you're running, but even perfect leads won't save you if you don't have enough of them. That brings us to the second mistake, volume starvation. You run one or two concepts inside a proven format, but neither of them wins. So you retire the format. But a format that produces 0 winners from 2 concepts hasn't told you anything about the format. It's just told you that you ran 2 concepts. And at our 23.8% win rate, the expected outcome of testing only 2 concepts is 0 winners. And that's the math, not a problem with the format. Most advertisers don't think about creative this way, but every concept you launch is a real capital decision. Let me break down what one concept actually costs us. We split production into 4 stages. Stage 1 is pre-production. That's the creative brief, which includes ideation, copywriting, location scouting, talent scheduling. Depending on who's involved, that's anywhere from $100 to $200. Now, stage 2 is filming the actual raw footage. This includes equipment setup, talent time, multiple takes, and B-roll. And here's where most, CEOs or founders, they lie to themselves, okay? So if your hour is worth, $2,000 or $3,000 on average, just depending on your income, and you're the one on camera, that has to go into the math. So the honest number on this specific stage is going to be anywhere from $350 to $600 per concept. Now, stage 3 is post-production, color correction, sound mixing, graphics, revision rounds, which adds up to about $150 to $250. Now, stage 4 is the actual platform spend it takes to clear your testing constraints. Say you're going after a qualified call for, $100. You're spending $300 to $600 on that specific concept just to know whether or not it's a winner. Add it all up, and a single video concept is a $900 to $1,650 capital decision. 2 video concepts are $1,800 to $3,300 deployed against an unknown. And that's before you scale to the volume the system actually requires to produce winners consistently. That's why it's key to really understand every single concept you roll out is real money invested. When you frame it that way, the question stops being, did this one win? And starts being, is my system producing enough winners to justify the capital I'm putting in? We saw exactly that happen with a digital education company that came to us. They were spending between $88,000 and about $102,000 a month on ads. Their profit was running between $4,000 and $50,000 a month. They had a good funnel and, solid targeting, but they were only testing 1 to 2 new concepts per month. And that's when they hired us. 2 months in, by January, we'd produced 54 concepts, found 17 scaling winners, and they hit $803,793 in revenue that month. By February, they were approaching $1 million a month. Now, 90 to 95% of that came down to our creative production system. When a concept fails inside a proven format, the move isn't retiring the format. It's building a new concept inside it. That's why we target 25 to 30 new concepts per client per month. The volume is what gives you enough shots to find winners inside each format. But once you don't have a winner, you don't go straight back to testing new concepts. You extract 3 iterations off the winner first. The first iteration is a super edited version of the winner. The script stays the same, but the pacing gets faster and the graphics get stronger. Faster cuts, reduced drop-off, which means more viewers stay long enough to be sold. Now, the second iteration is a UGC version. The script and the core idea stay the same, but it's executed by a female creator in first-person casual formats. This resets audience fatigue. Viewers who saw the original and didn't convert get a second exposure that feels like a completely different ad, even though the message is identical. The third iteration is 5 to 10 new hooks on the same winning body. The script stays the same, the body stays the same, only the first 3 to 5 seconds change on each version. You're changing one variable at a time, so when one of those hooks beats the original, you know exactly what moved the needle. Now that's the system. The pipeline never starts from zero. Every confirmed winner generates the next 3 things to test, all inside the same proven format. Now the bottleneck isn't strategy or formats. It's whether your system can produce 25 concepts a month to run through these 13 containers, or whether it can only produce 3. Now, if you're spending $50,000 a month or more on ads, and you want our team to build the full system inside your account, the creative engine, the testing framework, the dashboard that tracks every concept from idea to scale, then book a call. We'll look at your numbers, show you exactly where the measurement problem is, and tell you honestly whether we think we can move the needle. If we can't, we'll tell you that too. Either way, you'll walk away knowing the link is below.